Hey everybody, just letting you know that season 1 of Navigating Adult Autism ends with our episode airing on July 22nd, 2024, but we're going to take a very short break, but you have to tune in to season 2 on September 16th of 2024. And to start off our season 2, we are having the wonderful Temple Grandin. We are honored and thrilled that she is on, and you in the autism world probably know who she is. If not, it's a great introduction to get to know Temple Grandin. We are so excited for season 2, again, premiering September 16th, 2024. And our last episode of season 1 is July 22nd. So thank you so much for listening. Appreciate it. Bye-bye. Just a quick disclosure to share in conjunction with this podcast. Each of us are speaking to our personal experiences and do not consider ourselves experts and cannot offer medical, therapy, financial, or legal advice. We represent a wide range of experience on the autism spectrum and will always honor each perspective that is brought to our discussions. Our experiences, opinions, and perspectives are all unique and different and will be celebrated. Thank you so much for listening and connecting with us. Thank you. Welcome to Navigating Adult Autism. We are 7 moms with a lot of experience, a bunch of opinions, and a lot of perspectives. And we are here today to talk about the MSU Bear Power program at Missouri State, here in Springfield, Missouri. MSU Bear Power is a program that supports students with intellectual and/or developmental disabilities at college. They are a recognized comprehensive transition program, CTP, by the U.S. Department of Education. And April Phillips, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you so much.
So if you could just go ahead and tell us your title at Bear Power or what you do there, and tell us, we'll get started talking about the program.
Sure. I'm the director of Bear Power. I became director in July of 2022. We have been in operation since 2018. Our first students came in 2019. So,
oh, wow. Okay, good. So
what
tell
did
us.
you do before?
Yeah.
I was in public schools for 15 years. I was a first preschool teacher, and then special education teacher, then process coordinator, and then special ed director. All the things except for therapies.
Awesome. That's great. We appreciate you.
Yes, exactly. So how did this start, this program? Do you know, we've kind of heard things about it in the past, but how did it get started? And
so what I've been told is that there was some family interest. There was a member of the Board of Governors that had a child that went to a program similar to what we have created. I think like Camp Barnabas, there's Barnabas Prep, I think, is a program. Mm-hmm. And so there was some other things, and then other ones outside of Springfield area that they're like, why don't we have this available to our community? And so
because at the time there was nothing.
No, nothing.
Yeah, we had to travel to other areas of Missouri or Arkansas.
Mm-hmm. You're right. And so that was the consensus, like there needs to be something. So how can we create it? So they visited other programs across the country and kind of developed our own little niche. So took some things of some programs and others, and made it Bear Power.
Okay. How's it going? Like, what is it?
Great.
What does it entail? Like, how does a person start there?
So,
or a student, I should say.
Right. So the admissions comes through our office. So the things go to me. So they, an ideal candidate would be someone that wants to do more, but could not go as a traditional student. So they wouldn't have the grades or the GPA, the test scores, or the independent living skills to be able to do a traditional trajectory into college. And so we have our own application, which is online. They can do it online, or they can download the PDF and print it and handwrite it. I don't care, just as long as it's all filled out. They have to provide their last IEP or their last 504 plan, the last evaluation they've had. And then we ask for 3 letters of recommendation, one of them being from an educator, if possible. And then once we have all those documents and we see that, yes, they've had services before, but they have a potential to do more and they have a drive to do more. It's not just coming from the parent wanting to do this or just the student wanting to do this. And so once we see they're a good fit, then we ask them to interview. And so we bring the student and either parents or support people with them. And so we'll interview the student by themselves and then their people separate. Usually it's parents, but I don't want to assume. Mm-hmm. And then we bring them all together and we talk about some more things. And then that's We talk about that, and if we still think they're a good fit, we will bring them to our last phase of the admissions process, which is our leadership retreat. And so that's a full day on campus. We just did that last Friday, so I'm still tired. So we have the students and their family come, parents usually, and the parents have an hour with me and our deputy compliance officer, which is Julia Holmes. She's an amazing lady if you don't know her. She has personal connections with people with disabilities, and she's worked in the land of disability for many, many years. She started the Disability Center, Resource Center at OTC.
I was just going to say, we know her.
Yes, Julie is awesome.
But
We've gone to a couple classes.
Yeah, I spoke at her OTC class because but
too.
her last name has changed because she got married, right? Is that? I think
asking
so.
the wrong
Yes.
girl. I don't know.
Yes, Karen and I spoke at her.
Yes,
class.
it was.
we did.
Yes,
We did.
I've spoken.
Yeah.
That's who went with
Yeah,
us to
To the
pack.
PAC meeting.
It's Julie. Yeah, it's Julia Edwards.
Well,
yeah.
I
Julia Edwards.
Julia
I think Trump was
Edwards.
her maiden name or
But
whatever.
I can trump you all because I was friends with her when she was a little kid.
Well, there you
Oh,
go.
you're
She was a little
She's
bit older
actually,
than me.
she is so amazing.
Oh, she
Love
is. She's
her.
wonderful.
She is.
Our brothers were best friends.
Oh,
So she's
that's
at
nice.
MSU now.
Yes.
And what's her title?
She's deputy compliance officer, but she's also over the Disability Resource Center. So she's got lots of hats, like always. I'm sure she's
wow.
just a
Yep. She
trooper.
helped get the autism program over at OTC. And remember, we met
Yes.
with the dean and they kept refusing to give her money. And then there was about 10 of us moms that went and talked to the dean, the different
Nice.
deans or
Yeah, it was the
what their
dean and
titles-
some other teachers, some
Yeah.
professors.
some other professors and talked to him for a couple hours. And then within just a couple weeks, she got her funding.
That's awesome.
But I guess they no longer have an autism program at OTC.
I don't know.
I'm not sure either. But
But
anyway,
she's an
she's
amazing
done
partner.
a lot.
Yes.
She's done a lot.
And so she and I talk with parents, a great conversation about, expectations and opportunities to grow and how they can help support, but not things to expect. So it's a good conversation. But the students are off. They do icebreakers, get to know each other, and then we do a scavenger hunt on campus. So Friday, all the rain was amazing.
Oh,
man.
So that was fun. But that's life in college, right? You have to go to class whether it's raining, snowing, or what, unless they close campus. So
Right, true.
that was a good experience. And so they did a great job. And then we have lunch in the student union. And then we did a service learning project. So this year we got donations of flowers from Lowe's. And we potted some annuals for the memory care building here in Ozark, actually, just down the road,
Nice,
Hopedale.
nice.
So I gave them some flowers from our students. And then we participated in a kinesiology class. Oh, I said it right. So Dr. Woodard is awesome. She does a class with her students, and she helps clients from the ARC. And so she usually has an interactive class, but Friday they didn't have any ARC students, so it was just our students and her students collaborating and playing games and having fun and movement. And then the last thing is we work with Abilities First, and we make a vision board. And so they come in and talk about what you want in your life and what you don't want, and help them create that. And then the very last thing of the day, and now we're like up 4:00, so it's been a long day. They're presenting those boards to the room. So we had 16 students come, which is our largest group yet. And so you can imagine then we had probably 32 parents, and it was a full room. So for them to be able to be brave enough and say their vision board, there was probably just 3 that used one of our staff to say their board for them, but that was totally fine. It was their message.
Right.
So
right.
that's the last phase. And so actually Wednesday is when I sent letters out offering entry or not into our program for the fall.
Oh, okay.
So how many spots do you have?
Yes. So they've had light groups because I think the outreach wasn't there. People didn't know we were around. And so I've been really working hard about getting the word out there and showing across the state that we exist and what we can do. So we had 19 apply, and I was willing to take 16, 17.
She's like,
16, because, my other group only has 4. And cohort 4, and then cohort 5, which will just started last August, there's 10. So it's like,
So you're really upping it this time.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I think going forward, if we continue to grow and have the interest, then 15 is probably going to be the max. I want to make sure we can provide the supports
Right.
for them. I mean, if I get blessed and I can get higher and more help, then okay, we'll take more students. But for what I have right now, That's what we'll shoot for.
So are some on campus? Do they live on campus? Or
They have to live on campus. That's one of the requirements.
Oh, I like that.
Okay.
I love that.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so we have actually this cohort coming in. Only 2 are not from Missouri, and that's a change. That's a flip.
wow.
Everybody else has been from. I mean, I didn't have anybody, but one from Springfield. So I've had some from Iowa, Colorado, Alabama, Tennessee, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Iowa, Illinois. I mean, all over the place. And so this has been a great thing. That I actually have 3 or 4 from Springfield. I have 2 or 3 from Nixon, Ozark. So we're finally getting the word out.
Yeah, the word is getting out.
So what how many of them have an autism diagnosis?
It's a great question. So part of the CTP, so kind of explain that a little bit. So the U.S. Department of Education provided a law that said the Higher Education Opportunity Act in 2018. I think it was 2018. Don't quote me on that one. And 2008. Anyway, the CTP is for students with intellectual disabilities. Okay. So part of Bear Power is that we didn't want to be segregating students again. If they have a disability and they need supports, but they can do it, then I'm opening the door. So, but they had started that. I mean, that was part of the plan, was developmental disabilities was included in who we would serve. So with that, I would say about 50% of the new group would probably not have the intellectual disability. So some of the students that have autism could have intellectual disability,
Right.
and some that don't have intellectual disability may not have autism.
Right. Yeah.
So I'd have to look at my data to tell you exactly how many, but like for the group I have right now, I have 14 on campus. I can probably say that at least 5 have autism.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
The rest intellectual disability, you think, or just other diagnoses?
right,
Okay.
because they could have a genetic disorder that
Right.
cause them to learn difficulties, I mean, have trouble learning. And so it just is really the gamut.
Okay.
So I guess I have real basic questions because I'm just
I love
learning.
all questions.
I'm learning today. But I mean, so they live on campus. Are they auditing classes? I was kind of looking at is it 5 full semesters, the program?
Yeah,
Okay.
so our program is 5 semesters.
Okay.
So they have to take a minimum of 6 hours a semester out of the course catalog. They have additional class that's we call academic support. That's just for them. So that's the only time they're not in an inclusive setting. And so the basics is they're going to take at least 9 hours a semester.
Real hours, like they're getting
Real hours.
graded for it, yes? Okay.
So our class is not because it's just for them.
Right.
So that's the only
But the
time.
other hours.
However,
Okay.
students can take classes for credit if they want to, if they're able to. Some students take classes for audit. Like we want to
Right.
make sure they get the content so they can get a job.
Yeah.
I don't care the formality of it. It's a matter of what's going to be helpful for them to be successful. So I have students that start taking classes for credit. And this is the cool thing about Missouri State. This is not happening across the other programs. So Missouri State has been awesome if students want to take classes for credit and maybe they're not able to do all the things like their peers exactly the same. And so by the midway of the semester, we can change it to audit.
Oh.
Oh, that's
Up
nice.
until the middle of, I have a deadline. And so if we go 2 or 3 weeks in, they're like, maybe not. Maybe this is a little harder than I thought. And so then we can do what we call a learning agreement with an instructor, professor, and say, this is what the student needs. Are you cool with it? I mean, it's not a legal bounding document. It's not an IEP, right? Because this is college. This is different. But it's usually a great partnership. Like the instructors are like, yeah, I can do that, but I'm not sure I can do that. And so it's that dance of what we can do. And really that helps the student be successful. Like they can get the content, they can participate, and they can get a grade based on what they are able to produce. And vice versa. I've had students take classes for audit, especially like if they're not sure that first semester, or it's a new kind of content that they're not sure they can do. And I've had instructors even email me like, hey, so-and-so is rocking it. They're doing it. I want them to take this for credit. Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
Great.
That's really good.
So do they, if they're doing it for audit, do they still pay for the class?
Everything is still tuition based. Yeah.
Tuition based. Okay.
The only thing is that our class is just embedded in the fee that they are charged for Bear Power. So our students, they have the dorm fee, the meal plan fee, just like every other student, all those other student fees included, books. But then for our program, it's an additional $4,035 a semester.
I was going to get with
which
you,
I'm
see how much.
sad to say, but that's just how it is. But that provides the support, like all our staff. So we have 2 staff members, myself included, and then I have equivalent of 2 full graduate assistants that are they're tutors, right? They're pupil. They may work with them 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours a week, whatever they need help with. And then we have peer mentors who are volunteering, but it's still our staff managing all those things to help them. So basically, I've kind of alluded to, they have 4 layers of support. The typical resources on campus, like all Missouri State students have, and then our ambassadors, which is the peer mentors, and then our graduate assistants, and then our staff in the office.
But if you divide that 4,000 by all the hours they're getting, it's probably not very much per hour.
Right.
You know, if you kind of look at it that way.
Right. And we don't get funded by Missouri State.
Now, do they,
So-
on the tuition though, isn't it grants? They can't apply for a grant?
So if they have an intellectual
Tuition.
disability, they can fill out the FAFSA, and they can possibly get the Pell Grant. And then there's other agencies and organizations that I work with and try to get funding to help with them. So the Arc of the Ozarks provides a scholarship just for Bear Power students. So that's amazing.
Wow.
CC Links has given me a grant that I'm using for scholarships for students that are clients for CC Links.
Which is Christian County.
Community Foundation of the Ozarks, they have that section of Eastern Christian County. And I also got a grant from them. So I was able to provide a scholarship for someone that lived in Ozark.
Oh.
So
Oh, that's great.
When you say supports, you would, how many hours do they get? And then what do the supports, I know it varies from student to student, but support, when you say support, this program, what's it supporting in the classroom setting, in the dorm setting,
Sure.
and you know what do they get?
what does it look like? Yes. So we don't go to classes with our students, but we will help them find their class, plan that out, even go with them like on the shuttle or to class for several weeks or whatever they need to make sure that they know where to go and how to get there okay. And then working on homework. So that executive planning, like what do I need to plan for? What homeworks due? What's the next assignment? How do I email my professor? Even what resources are on campus, like where's the tutoring lab in the library? Because you don't have to just use us. I mean, they have access to everything else everyone else has. So there's the Bear Claw. And if they're taking classes for credit or audit, if they want to use the Disability Resource Center, there's also resources there. So how can they get those supports as well? Maybe they want to check out counseling. They can have 8 free counseling sessions a semester. So maybe they need help getting that. Maybe they're not feeling good. So we help them figure out how to get an appointment at Majors to get a doctor's appointment or how to get their prescriptions. Maybe it's social. You know, a lot of the students with autism have a little more trouble with the social interactions. And so part of our program is that we do social events several times a month, sometimes weekly, sometimes more than that. And so it's about reaching them and helping them come out of their shell and finding activities that they're comfortable with, or if they're comfortable with going with us to those events, and then meeting new people. And the ambassadors are part of that as well. So the ambassadors, they could have 1 ambassador, we could have 5 ambassadors. Like, what do they need to be successful on campus and keep them going forward in their academics, but also engaging on campus and making those friendships and making those connections. And so, you know, our supports can be as hands-on as, you know, like one of my GAs would work with a student for 3 hours a week because they had a block class. So it was just half the semester. So it was a little faster. So they worked a lot. Another one is I'm hands-off. I mean, he really doesn't need a whole lot. Just once in a while, he needs to check in. Like, what about this? And how do I do this? I'm like, here we go. And then I didn't add is that starting their second semester, we get them into internships. So we get them those job experiences right away. And it's not just a job, right? We're not going to just go clean. We're not going to just go organize. That's not the point. Whatever they're focusing in, their emphasis, like their major, we find them jobs. So like I have students at the History Museum on the Square, in the library, in the Res Life, bookstore, off campus. I have Hunters and Wildlife. I have 2 of them there.
Wow.
I have students working with Abilities First through their Art Inspired Academy. So they're helping with those art classes. Forestry, I have one working at the Watershed Committee of the Ozarks. So just whatever they're interested in, we try to find them a job.
Wow.
So they
successful.
go in as almost like a regular student because you said as their major. So they are finding something they're interested in and declaring a major.
We call it emphasis because they're not going to have a
okay.
bachelor's degree at the end of the 30 hours or 5 semesters, but like that, yes, because there's 170 majors to pick from.
Right,
So,
right.
And they work with a typical academic advisor who collaborates with us in our office and says, so-and-so is interested in this. I mean, I usually find that out early on when they're applying. I mean, we're always asking those questions, but they help them pick out the classes that they need for those areas.
Can you tell me a little bit about the supports you give them or what dorm life is for your students?
So,
Because I find that like very attractive for my son because I think it would be so amazing. We've talked to some other programs that don't offer the dorm life, but that's attractive for us to have our son go and live in the dorm and get that social aspect, but he's a mess, What kind of are there
a lot of freshmen are a mess.
Does mama have to come and clean? What does that look like?
Yeah.
And in the dorms, do they have their private dorm to get away, or do they share it?
Are all your students on the same floor?
You guys have great questions. And you're not like anybody else I talk to about, these programs. So which is great. So we have our students start out in Hutchins House or Hammond's. They're right next to each other. And those are 4-person suites. And so we try to start there. And we don't assign who lives with who or anything like that. That's res life. But they are amazing. They collaborate with us. Like if I know somebody shouldn't be roommates with another one, then I'll say, just kind of like a classroom teacher, like don't put Johnny and Sue together. Okay.
So are they like together in regards to in the same dorm, the 4 people, or do they have neurotypical in those dorms too?
Right.
The 4.
So the 4-person suite. So we usually suggest that they do 2 Bear Power students in one room and then 2 traditional students in the other room. And they share a little mini kitchenette, like a mini fridge and a microwave and some cabinets and a bathroom. And so sometimes they have put more Bear Power students together in one room, but we've really asked them like, hey, can we try to not do that? And I've been asked multiple times, like, well, do the other students have a say? Have they put in a survey that they are interested in? Are they aware? I'm like, nope, because they're Missouri State students. So if they want to share their disability, then that's up to them.
Yeah.
But we're not doing that kind of
Declaration.
No.
Yeah. Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. And so if they need help with those independent living skills, like what to clean, when to clean, those kinds of things, like we provide them some like information sheets and we talk about it. Like this is expected of you. And we've had some situations where, someone complains, well, so-and-so is not being clean. They have trash everywhere. And so we encourage them and help them facilitate those traditional means of communication. So maybe they're working with their resident assistant, the RA on the floor, how to mediate a situation, maybe the hall director. And we can always say, like, if you want us to be there, we can come have that conversation. You can have a conversation in our office, whatever works best for that student. But we try to use the natural supports and the natural systems on campus and then just help them throughout that.
Okay.
That's great. How many ambassadors do you have?
Oh, I think we have around 40 right now, but I would love to have about 90 in the fall since I have so many more coming.
Yeah. Is that something they just sign up for? Like, how are they fed that information about your program?
Well, we share it all across the campus, like posters and websites. And, when I'm even going to transition fairs and talking to students that either are coming in as a traditional student or they're not, I'm sharing the information both about Bear Power and being an ambassador. A lot of the times the helping fields have a natural tendency to share. So college education, occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech and language, pathologists programs, all those kind of people kind of gravitate. But we also have had students that volunteer from the business or human resources, if they've had a family member or they did a program in high school, like the Best Buddies or something of the sort, how they were involved. And they're like, this rings true to my heart. I want to be involved. Then come on board.
Oh, wow. That's great.
So they just contact us and then we train them. And then we try to pair them up with a student that have similar likes and interests.
Nice.
That is nice. What would you say? Was there any problems that you fixed or changed that you thought didn't work, or like you thought, it's not really working this way? This needs to.
Since when I came on?
Right.
Yeah, they was really rigid on the application period.
Okay.
They opened it August 1st and then December 1st. No more. And I'm like, why? We don't start till the next fall. We have time. So I changed that. And so that's really opened up some time for families, because some of them, especially if they're finishing high school, they may not be thinking about the next thing until spring.
Yeah. Or they've tried numerous things and they're like, at least for our family, you guys all know that we've tried so many different things. And then we like, let's try this. And it may be April.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you're just trying to get them graduated.
You
And
got
you don't
other
even think
things.
about it until, okay, now where's our next step?
Yeah.
What do we do now?
And other programs, they limit how old the student can be before they can come to a program. So a lot of them are 18 to 25 or 18 to 26. And I took that top age off, because if you have a person with a disability, it takes them longer to learn skills. Why would you cap it at 26? That
Thank
just
you very
seems
much for that, by the way. I
wrong.
really did that a lot.
You're welcome. I was like, I don't get that. So I actually have 2 students that started this last fall. They're in their 30s. And that's awesome.
That's great.
That is great.
Yes.
Yeah, because one, it wasn't available to them when they finished high school, right? It's a new thing across the country,
Right.
and so then and then they weren't able, and they didn't have a program. Some of their states, because they were from Alabama and Tennessee, their states didn't allow over a certain age, and so they were still stuck. And here they are. They
Well,
came.
that's
Right.
amazing, because that's what the question I was going to ask, because I'm thinking of my son in particular, and I'm thinking, maybe in 10 years, but that's going to put him over 25. He's still got a lot of learning to do, and he's very young for being an 18-year-old. I'm not going to send him when he's got the mentality of a 12-year-old.
Right. Well, and I have found that working in the special education population, that a lot of students that have autism tend to seem more immature and take them longer to mature to get that level. And so that's okay. That's their journey. So
Yes, thank you. Because I was literally just sitting here thinking, my son's 32. There's no way he could be in that program because he's 32. But
when I double checked with the Res Life director, I was like, no, I want to make sure, like, this is my thought. She's like, no, I have traditional students come when they're 50, 60, 70, and they live in the dorm. I'm like, cool.
Really?
Okay.
I went back to college in my 40s.
I don't think
they let me in.
I'm in college right now.
hopefully not living in the dorm, but would you? Yeah.
Would you want to live in the dorm?
No. And actually, I don't know if my son would want to live with somebody else, though. So
Well, could they get a
can
private
they
room?
get a
Well,
private
when
room?
Kelsey went, she lived at Hutchinson the one semester.
Yeah.
And so we paid additional to have that private room. So that
Right,
she
and I was
had
going
somewhere
to
to
go
so
back
there's
to your
the option.
question. So, yeah, we asked them to start with a 4-person suite so that we can work on those inclusion things and those social issues and working with learning how to live with someone else. But then they might go to a 2-person suite. So you might share it with one person, but you have 2 rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And then the highest thing is the private room. Of course, as you go less people, it costs more. So I
Right.
try to make sure parents know that those are the consequences if you do that. But like I have a student that this was his 2nd semester, and next fall he wants a private room. Like, really? I'm like, come on,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah. He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. I mean, that's you and your family's decision, but
yeah, but you wish
but
he'd
he's
stay in the other one.
well, he's in everything else, so he's social. It's fine.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's actually joined the Student Government Association. He's on his floor committee. He's doing all the social events. I mean, for him, it's like you need to say no
Yeah.
on some things. You don't have to be involved in everything.
Oh, wow.
So,
He just has to rest sometimes.
yeah. So maybe for him, the private room was like, I just need some space that's quiet that I know it's mine.
I know that, like, we've talked about this before, that sometimes you have to set them up for success the first time, though, because they don't try things over and over. My son, especially with autism, we can all talk from our own perspectives.
Right.
That's why we
One
say
person.
our opinions, our perspectives, and our viewpoints. But like, if I don't set him up for success the first time, like he tried OTC one time, he did great, but halfway through something happened and it didn't work out. But he did finish the class with a lot of bargaining and a lot of bribing. But that's why I asked about the private room. I would worry that if he didn't like that roommate the first time, he would just say, well,
Shut down.
Yeah, he'd shut down. I don't want to try that again. So that's why I asked about that. But yeah, I don't know if he definitely would like to make friends, but he's not real good about.
Well, and we've had those conversations. We've had some that they didn't get along with another person, and it might have been a Bear Power student too. And so it's like, what's going on, and how can we help you through the situation? What's an agreement, some mediation that we can do? And that's kind of good for just life skills. And so we have worked through those things. And then we told him, like, if you've tried these things and they still don't work, you can ask to change rooms.
Yeah.
And so we've had a couple, over the course of our program's life that have done that, but it's been minimal. Most times they can work it out. One, we asked them, like, if you want to change rooms, put that in, we'll help you with that process. And they're like, no, we'll just wait. I'm like, oh, okay. Didn't see that coming. And then this semester, they didn't change either. I'm like, okay. They didn't say they were having difficulty, but we knew that it's not the best. And then the next fall, they're like, me and so-and-so are going to be roommates. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And then the other one's going to be, that's fine. So they've worked through their things. It's amazing just to give them the opportunity.
life
They
skills.
do. They do overcome some of those things, even though we've experienced those shutdowns.
Yeah.
They really haven't blocked themselves off from future experiences, which is amazing to see them grow.
Good.
Do parents interfere a lot in the, like, do they,
Well, and
do they
Hamilton,
helicopter? I mean, I'm just,
Well, we tell them with college higher ed, it's FERPA, right? So unless the student has signed off on the
Okay, that's
FERPA
what I was
release, they really don't have access to anything.
Yeah, they
and
don't.
they cannot, and we tell them up front, and lots of times they cannot ask me for grades. They cannot ask me if they went to class. I will contact them, and I will answer them if they're concerned. Like, hey, so-and-so said such and such, and they're having a hard time. Thank you. I'll check on them.
So I don't understand. So even if you're their guardian,
Yeah, it doesn't count at higher ed. That was a big
Did
thing for me.
not
I'm like,
know
I came
that.
from public education. I'm like,
yeah.
hey, now wait a minute. And they're like, no.
well,
Wow.
like with Kelsey, when she was going to MSU, we told her, okay, she had to pay for the classes or get the loans because we felt she needed to have that commitment, even though later we would probably pay them off. And then I told her, we'll pay for your dorm and your food. But in order for us to help assist you, I need all your records.
Right.
You're going to
Yeah.
send them over to me
And that's that
immediately.
conversation.
And if
Yeah.
you do not, you're done.
Well, you can sign up. My daughter's at MSU, and you can sign up for like a parent account or whatever. So I can see so much, but I can't see
All of it.
everything.
Yeah, unless like they share
Yeah.
that information. Like even at SOAR, which is orientation, they'll say to all the parents, like, have them tell you their password.
Yeah.
Tell them how to log in and sign off those rights, because we want you to know some things too, but we just want you to know that you cannot contact the professors or anybody on campus and say, so-and-so, how's their grades? Are they coming to
Yeah, I
class?
was just gonna
That's not
say.
going to happen.
I could definitely see some parents. Hi, how's my son doing?
Yeah, no. I mean, if I have concerns for a student, I'm going to reach out because I think it's a
Gotcha.
team effort. But,
Gotcha.
I'm going to have to be careful of what I say and what I share unless they have that FERPA release.
Sure.
And one of the meetings I know preparing for Kelsey going, one of the meetings was specifically about the privacy and that you guys are not allowed. This is not, you cannot intervene. You have to go through the student or your child to get that information. And we're just like, we're going to have that conversation with Kelsey.
Right. I mean, I don't even see their grades until the end of the semester, and the professors will send me their grades. And if they're credit or audit, I will present that in a total, like one document for the student and their families that this is how they did. And we'll do our own progress report. But I don't see day-to-day grades either. I mean, the GAs will work with them and try to have them show them their grades. Again, we can't make them, but we're like, how are you doing? Show us how well you're doing in this, and what's your have you done this assignment, things like that. So we have our ways to help support them, and some of them still are like, yeah, I got it. Okay. Natural consequences.
That sounds like my daughter.
Yeah, natural consequences.
Yes,
Exactly. So you had mentioned that, it's 5 semesters and they can take 9 hours of credit. What other classes do you have available for them to teach them?
So the one class each semester that we do, so we do reading and writing comprehension, kind of like tips and tricks of how to do college reading and writing and those assignments. And then time and money management, community service engagement, communication and relationships, because that's so much fun. Sometimes I miss my elementary times.
bet that's true.
Sometimes that's fun. And then transition to employment. So each of those semesters, we're also building resumes and working on interviewing skills and all the job skills that we need, because we start internships the second semester. But we're covering all those topics all the semesters. Now, if we needed to veer off and do something else because students are having issues in one area, then we'll do that. But other than that, that's the only class that we provide from Bear Power. Everything else is out of the course catalog. They take whatever interests them. So I have students taking hospitality, yoga, Chinese, piano, art, drawing, child and family development, media. I mean, there's 170 majors. I have students taking all kinds of classes.
Wow.
So is the end in mind for the program for someone to go through the 5 semesters and then ultimately continue their education at MSU on their
Not
own?
the goal.
Or is it like getting the experience of the 5 semesters and then going off and getting a job? So like it's
Yep, the latter, for sure.
Okay.
And I didn't say this before, is that our students don't have to take the prereqs like the rest of us going for a bachelor's degree. So we can get them into the classes they are interested in and need for a job. So the only mandatory class that they have that everyone else has is that Intro to College, GEP class, that first semester. After that, it's the gamut of what's going to interest them. So they don't have to take English 101 or Math 101 or a Science 101. They can just get into ones that they want.
Wow.
Which would pertain to a specific, like you say, career job and not necessarily a bachelor's of science in psychology.
Right.
Okay.
It's like, what's the benefit, right?
Right.
So I did have one student, I don't know if you saw her in the newsletter, that she finished Bear Power and then continued on to be a regular Missouri State student without the Bear Power supports. She checked in once in a while, but she did not use our supports because she was not in the program anymore. And she got her bachelor's degree in December.
I saw that. I saw that.
Miss Hannah.
I didn't see that. That's great.
What did she get her bachelor's in?
She did her general studies, so she did what she wanted to study. So it was, I think she, out of the 3 things she was focused on, she ended up focusing more so on 2, which was history and animal science, or history and religion. Those are the 3 that she liked.
it.
So she did her own thing.
I got a religious studies minor, people. I like going to those classes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And I have one right now that he probably will. He wants to get a bachelor's degree, so he's taking those classes for credit. So that's his goal. But I mean, we'll see. He wants to be an activities director at an assisted living facility. So whatever he needs to get that job.
That would be more gerontology, my degree.
Let's do it. There's tons of good ones.
I also have a degree in missions too, Bible too. So we're
there you go.
and I have a degree in psychology.
We should have lunch sometime.
I know. That's so funny.
No, I was just going to ask, what is Hannah going to do with her history degree?
Well, she's working with the Career Center to work on finding a job. So I don't know that yet, because that's kind of using those resources on campus. She's reached out to them and trying to find something.
So general studies, you can pick whatever you want to. I didn't know that. I was wondering what general studies meant. I bet you Zion would like that, just to pick anything he wants to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. Mm-hmm. I do not have a degree in general studies. Just kidding.
You have a degree in hacky sack, remember?
I do. I have a degree in hacky sack and beach volleyball. I'm a perpetual student.
Do you know there's almost 400 clubs on campus that we tell the students that, we try to get them involved, right? But there's a cereal eating club.
Oh my gosh.
You're kidding.
No. Oh, that's funny.
I'm like, really? All right. And then there's a hammock club. I mean, I wouldn't mind getting my hammock out and joining the club. But
they have lots of hammock places on the campus.
Yeah.
It's really neat.
And if there's something that they're interested in, then we tell them too. Like, if you want to do something, you want to make a club, and there's not one, then we get 2 or 3 students involved and a faculty or staff member, and we make it happen. So it's pretty cool.
So there's some professor on campus that loves cereal. Do they just go to every professor and say, "Will you be our faculty advisor
For cereal?
The cereal club.
Yeah, Lucky Charms or." That's so funny.
And then, we didn't talk about this, but at the dining hall so when they're living on campus, so the dining halls, there's about 4 or 5 on campus, and there's one attached to Hutchins and Hammond, so it's really convenient. It's like a buffet, y'all. It's like the best thing for students. They love it. And of course, you could have breakfast any time of day too. But I mean, they have your pizza stuff. They have your hamburgers and hot dogs. They have pasta. They have like Asian food.
Do they still have Starbucks?
In student union, yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we would get the bill for Starbucks. I'm like, really, Kelsey?
Yeah.
One a day? No.
Yeah.
Hannah she had $280 left of her bear money last. She bought it all at Starbucks the last day. Everybody goes, yes. She waited till the last day. She came in with Starbucks cups. We gave everybody for Christmas got Starbucks cups. She came in with, I have 2 bags of full whole bean coffee.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, I will never put money on your bear fund again. So she went down to nothing now. She has to pay for her own stuff. Because I was like, I'm not paying for us to give Starbucks gifts for everyone.
That's cute.
And that kind of goes into what students need to be able to do to be in Bear Power and to be a campus, right? So we look at, can they handle money, like ordering? So part of our leadership retreat, they had to order food at the student union. So can you order a meal? Can you pay for your meal? You know, those kind of things, those independent skills are what we're looking for. And then if they have medications, they have to be able to be independent on that. No school nurse. You know, you're going to have to be able to do that yourself. But basically, I say make sure you can be alone for a weekend, right? So our office is Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. If there's an emergency, we will come up, right? There's plenty of us that we will come up.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, I mean, there are people. We'll take care of them beyond what the university campus people will do, who are amazing. But
do they ever call their ambassadors, and do
Oh,
their ambassadors want to be bothered? Like if
Well, it's just that friendship thing, right? Like if you're having a bad day, or if you just need to go to CVS, or you want to do this, or I mean, they're going places all the time. It's just amazing. And we have an app that they have to let us know. That's one rule we've put out there. Like it's, if you are going off campus, you have to let one of us know. And then and I'd like to know where you're going, but, and then when you're coming back.
I like that.
And so that's just a little check-in.
Safety.
A little safety
thing.
Yeah. And so that's part of our student handbook. Like that's our rules.
That's nice.
So
that's nice.
And they have to maintain a 2.0 GPA. I'm bouncing all over the place, so I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
It's a lot in Bear Power.
Good.
But they have to maintain 2.0 GPA. So if by chance they do have a bad semester, they have a semester like academic probation, just like anybody else. So we look at our supports and we look at things like what happened, how can we change that, what supports do you need, strategies, things like that. So so it's not all as if, we're done.
Right.
It's life.
Right.
Figure it out.
What a great program.
That's a really great program.
It's changing lives.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So we love the independent living in the dorm, but what if they can't live in the dorm, or what if it's not? They're just not accepted in the program?
Right.
Is it required?
It's a requirement.
Okay.
That was part of our CTP application that they live on campus. So that's how, we're governed kind of a little bit about that.
Okay.
I kind of like that though. It's kind of teaching them roles, and this is our policy. This is,
Yeah.
Do any of them have service animals?
None of my Bear Power students do. There are some Missouri State students that do. And so if they do need those, and
my son has a service animal.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a problem. It's just a matter of there's certain rules they have to abide by, right? And they have to take care of the animal. They have to stay in the room all day while they're not, if they don't have them with them, right? Because there's service animals and there's also emotional support animals. And so they have rules for both of those. But right now, Bear Power students do not have any of those, but they could if need be.
Okay.
So when do they start? So it's May, right? So when do they, you're taking applications now. You just said you're finished?
We just finished for the next coming group.
For this semester coming
So
up.
August 1st, I will open up the applications if they want to start the next fall. I open it up way early.
So it's from year to year instead of semester to semester. Got it.
Okay. That's good to know.
What is your, what is that word when, like how many students, don't follow through with the program? What's a contrition? What is it? But whatever that word
Completion?
is. No, it's a word that I cannot come up with right now. But it's like how many people actually finish the program?
Right. So of our whole program, I think, because I'm writing grants, I was always write down the data.
It says here there's an 80% graduation rate.
Yeah, and it's probably actually higher than that. That we've serviced 31 students. We've had, is that right?
It's okay. It's the end of the day. It's Friday.
I I've only had, and this is not just my tenure here, they've only had like less than 5 not complete the program. So one was because of the grades, the GPA. He was dismissed. That's the only one that we have dismissed. So the other ones that didn't complete was because of finances, which I get it. One was during COVID, and I think it was a health scare, and they just didn't come back. And so, and that's usually what it is. It's a financial thing, or I've had 2 that were super homesick and they just couldn't do it. They did 6 weeks and they're like, but really if you think about other Missouri State students, that happens.
Yeah, that
does. So they're like everybody else in that aspect. It's more significant for us because we have less of them. So, we've only had one that we actually dismissed for not doing the grades because he just wanted to do partying kind of stuff.
Now
I was told.
I think that happens.
Yeah, that happens too. Are you losing that funding, or do they pay? Because I know that if you only have 30 students and 2 of them drop out, is it you're losing that funding, or is it a payment plan, or?
So the students and the families, they have payment plans for that semester. So you have to pay it by the end of that semester before you can register for the next class or the next semester. So if a student by chance leaves the program after that, say they finished December, but they didn't come back for January, I'm not charging them for January. It's just they paid for that semester. I did have the couple that left after 6 weeks. We did a partial payment because they did use services while they were here, but they weren't here for the whole semester. And that's our decision. Kind of goes off with similar to university policies.
Okay.
Wow.
Do you have a board?
I have an advisory board that I created this year because I didn't have one.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Inspires you.
I think we need more voices at the table.
That's right.
I think because I'm just one person, I don't know everything. And so I try to get people's minds together and we can make things better.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
So we don't get direct funding from Missouri State. I mean, yes, they're supporting us because they're helping us run and they funnel the things. But I'm hoping that vocational rehab, this is a big thing that's happening, that right now, Missouri Voc Rehab will not pay anything for our students. But we've had lots of conversations, all the programs in Missouri with VR, and that's supposed to be changing.
Okay. We just brought in VR, what was it, about a month ago?
Yes. It's already aired, actually, if you want to listen to it.
Okay.
But what was I just going to say on that? That was something good.
I think across the country, though, that's a problem. With the Voc.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I've heard lots of
Well, I have a student from Colorado. They're paying for everything. I have a student from Kansas. They're paying for everything. And so it is by state. So that it is nitpicky. And also, like, if they're eligible, right? I know that you can't just say, well, I'm going to be I'm going to get funding. I know there's other,
I think
parameters.
There's hoops. There's hoops. You have to jump through.
It's government, right? There's a hoop. But the light is at the end of the tunnel when it's coming, because that has been such a big problem for me. Like, I just don't see how that's right. And so I was a little persnickety with someone in VR when I first started about that. So I'm glad we're making progress.
Yeah. Well, if you're giving them job skills, then why not?
We're doing all the things they want.
Everything. Yeah.
All the things.
Yeah.
And the local Greene County VR people are amazing. Like, they are champions for us. They'll come and speak with us. They'll try to help students. And so they are fabulous. And I know there's great people across the state. It's just a matter of get this policy fixed, because this is ridiculous.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. So you do a great job in employing people. I mean, your students. That's fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, I'll have to send you guys my PowerPoint that has like great success stories in detail. And then
that'd be great.
I have a student that took media, and he made a video about his experience in Bear Power.
My son is very interested in media.
So
if you send that to us, we'll put that on our website.
Okay.
That would be great.
And then one student, he took all his classes for credit. He took 12 hours a semester plus the Bear Power class.
Oh my goodness.
And he also could play the guitar, so he played with the at the time Deputy Provost Dr. Chris Craig, who's amazing, a champion for us. He helped start it, and he's still helping me. And then he's also completely blind and has a disability. So I videoed him at Lee Summit when he was talking to his hometown about his experience.
Wow.
So I have that on our YouTube channel as well.
That's great.
It's just great.
Oh my gosh.
Get
Big
them off the
applause
couch.
to Missouri State. Wow.
Really?
That's really good.
And the
That's
departments and the faculty, all the people on campus are so wonderful. like, how can we help? How can we get the
That's
word
very
out?
true.
And they're just very accommodating, but not enabling.
Yeah, I will say I made a call to, I forgot her name. My son wants to do screenwriting and, he wrote a script and everything. And I just called one day to Missouri State to the department. I looked up online, like, what department do I call? I don't know. And I called a professor and she called me back and she said, I totally get it. I have a 9-year-old daughter on the spectrum. And she hooked me up with 3 grad students that were teaching. And my son's been tutoring with him since last fall.
Oh my
Now
gosh.
he's
Awesome.
moved to Virginia or New York. And they do it Zoom.
Oh,
And he's still,
that's great.
I'm not paying tuition, but I sort of am. But he's so nice. And he texts me afterwards and lets me know how he did. And he said, hey, do you mind if I just teach him my normal curriculum that I give my students? Because I think he can handle it. And I was like,
Isn't
what?
Isn't that just awesome?
And I said, please do anything. and he just texted me. Well, no, he had a tutoring session today, but because my son thinks we should do it every week. And I'm like, okay. So he just said, Mary, the tutor, that's what I call him, but he's a teacher. He said he is working harder than any of my students right now.
Wow.
And I was like, you're kidding. I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, like I'm just,
yeah.
Awesome.
but
Yeah.
so kudos to Missouri State because they
Yes.
got on it. They called me right back and set me up with
Oh,
3
they're great
people.
people.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a bear, but they are great people.
Yeah, I was really impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not to mention I do go to church over there, Catholic Campus Ministry,
very
quite
nice.
often. Yes. That's a great program too, by the way.
I have students that go there and actually have 2 students interning with them.
Oh, I love
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, well, yes, you do.
You know my 2
Because
students?
I think I know who it is. I don't know them. But at Mass, my son, I take to Mass there, and when this person, I'm assuming this may be who you're talking about, got up to give the announcements, I mean, he yelled into the microphone
Oh.
quite loud. And what does my son say? I think he might be on the spectrum. And I said, oh, well, first he went, ow. Like he reacted because it was too loud for him. And I said, hey, and can't really explain a lot during Mass, right? Because you're trying to pay attention. And he goes, I think you're right. I think he might be on the spectrum. I said, see, that's why you need to tolerate me. But anyway, I wonder.
And maybe not,
sorry
too.
if it's not. Maybe he's not. I don't
That's
know.
the thing. Like I had a student from another class trying to interview me for a project for my regular class. And he's like, oh, so maybe this person, he described this person, and I had spoke in their class. And he said, maybe, so that person's in your Bear Power program. I'm like, no. So, it's really interesting. It's like you
Right.
might know,
He
but
might
there's
not be,
so many
so.
people on campus with so many different various ability levels that may or may not.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Because then my students are like, I said kids, my students are just
Yes.
blending in. Like this, I love the invisibility of
Yes.
our
And the
disabilities
acceptance.
and acceptance.
Yes, absolutely. So if that is the child, 'cause then we went back the next Sunday. Same thing happened. He goes, oh my God, I forgot. It's so cute though. I mean,
It was a learning though.
It was a learning, yes.
Yeah.
But it was so cute. I was just, it makes me as a parent feel proud that he's up there giving the announcements. I'm like, oh, I love that. But
Well, sometimes it takes it teaches our kids to be empathetic to other people's needs.
right.
Like I do the same thing, Mary. I was like, well, maybe he's on the spectrum.
Right.
But you know what? He might have a sensitivity to something as well. And that makes Zion say, oh,
Exactly.
yeah. So I don't think that we're pointing out that, that
Exactly.
they're less or anything like
No.
that. It's just that we're trying to teach our kids, okay, that person might have some sensory things as you do, Zion, or something like
Exactly
that. Yeah,
right.
you know what I mean?
Right. Or when my son says, boy, he talks a lot. Really?
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Missouri State.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
Me too.
I wish
Go Bears.
Yes, go Bears.
I wish this program was there when Kelsey
know.
went. She could have been. I mean, we lasted one semester.
Doesn't mean
But-
she can't try again.
Yep, maybe so. Maybe so.
Yes.
But yeah, it would have been a great program there for her.
Do they give them any in-state tuition like the Colorado, or that part is different? So, like you said that they pay
question.
for their your Colorado student, are they paying out of state tuition and they're paying? Okay, that's a lot.
And I think for them, for like Colorado, like they're paying $3,000 of our Bear Power program fee. But hey, that's help for that family. It's a single dad, so anything is helpful. Kansas is paying it all because they compare to. And I have a student that he's getting in-state tuition, even though he's from Kansas, because it's
right.
close.
It's a neighboring state.
Then they are paying for the full fee, but they compared it to other programs in Kansas. So it depends on which state, So hopefully with the Missouri VR, whatever, it'll be great, right? If they can help with tuition, if they can help with the Bear Power fee, let's break some of these financial barriers. Let's just let these people come to college and have experience.
Absolutely.
You said that it was a nonprofit, or can people give to that?
Yes, they can. Yeah, we have a donation link on our website.
Okay,
and
that's great.
I'm always open to our fundraisers. But yeah, we are classified as a 501(c).
Okay.
So,
do you have fundraisers?
Yeah, sure.
What do you have planned, Mary?
No, I'm thinking maybe you're
one woman, Mary.
Well, I didn't know if she had a.
I don't have an active one right now.
Well, your
but
advisory board might come up with one. So
Well,
just
there's
FYI.
that. But they're so busy too. I don't know. But yeah, I want to do more. It's just a matter of what and
Oh, of
how.
course.
My last brain explosion was, maybe we should do a color run, and that would be fun. But then I'm like, logistics. And,
Oh, man.
Okay. But maybe.
I've directed a color run. I'm not volunteering. It's hard. Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
Pickleball.
You have to,
Pickleball.
Something
yes,
where
that's
you
a
stay
thing.
in one spot is easier to plan.
yeah.
Right.
I was just
If they have to
curious.
move around.
No, yeah. I mean, I did a Pampered Chef party, so anything that we could do that, we can raise some funds. Like I am writing grants all the time for I just wrote one, hopefully we'll get it, for paying for some social events, like paying for their bowling fees for shoes and bowling. And
Sure.
we have to, the downside of Missouri State is that you have to rent a van to transport them. If it's a Bear Power event, we can't transport them ourselves. So
Yeah.
I get it. But so I have to, there's costs involved. So I wrote a
This
grant to.
limousine won't help you out there.
Not that I know of. Not yet. If you know somebody, let me know. And so I also want to do like a pottery thing. And then I want to take them to a transition fair so they can speak it. I mean, they're living it, so they can share with the other people coming to the transition fair about what it's like. And then I want to take them to the Capitol on Disability Day. So hopefully, I wrote a grant for $3,000. So hopefully,
That's great, girl.
we could do that. I had joined the 417 networking professionals group. And so they actually donated $200 for us recently. So we're going to be able to use that for some social events. And then we're their charity at the raffle right now. And so whatever we can make from that, that'll be great. So
Good.
I'm always open to anybody's ideas.
What is your website where your donations are? Where your donation button is?
Yes. Yeah, let's get your information.
Let me pull that up. I know it's Missouri State .edu and then Bear Power. Yeah, that's on that paper. But
Can you read it, Mary?
I sure can. So the email is bear. Is that what you want first?
Oh, I was whatever
Website?
you want.
The website is missourastate.edu/bear, and then power is all in caps, and that's one word with another slash at the end.
I just saw it. She said that there was a donation button, so I just was
On the
thinking-
website.
On the website, there is.
Yes.
So on that website.
yeah, I'm gonna pull it up so you have
Yeah,
it.
it's www.missourastate.edu/bearpower/ and then power is all in caps. And then your email is bearpower@missourastate.edu.
Yeah, and if they want to email me directly, it's April Phillips @missourastate.edu.
Okay, perfect. And then the phone number is 417-836-6656 or 1-800-735-2966. Again, that's 1-800-735-2966. I couldn't.
Such a
I
good
couldn't.
radio voice.
Thank you. I couldn't think. I wanted to do it.
Honorary narrator.
Oh, gosh.
So, April, is there anything else that you would like to add?
That you're proud of your students. You're proud of the program,
so
right?
Proud of them.
Yes.
Is it everything that you hoped it would be?
Or also, do you have any goals for the future for growth
Yes.
or changes?
Yes.
Like your dreams.
So yes, it is what I had hoped it would be. It's better. it's getting better every day, every week, with the connections that we make, with relationships we make within the community or on campus, with the students, seeing them grow. See someone struggle and then they turn it around, and it's just like, and you see that light bulb and you see that proud moment. It's just amazing. Having them call us up, say, hey, after the graduation, I have an interview on this day. They're so excited to share that they're making progress in those areas of life and what their plans are. Future, to grow, to have the supports, to not have those financial barriers that, anybody can apply that is at the ability level to make this happen and be another success story. I'd love to have the word out there to all families that they know, in the rural community, in affluent and poor socioeconomic areas, that whoever wants to have this happen for their child, it can happen. And I think having that recognition, we do hope to maybe get accredited. That's a new thing coming down the pike. So hopefully we can get selected to be a pilot location and be accredited nationally.
Oh, that'd be great.
Wow.
Awesome.
So that's the next big thing.
Neat.
Well, we love having you here.
Well,
Thank you for
thank you.
coming.
Yeah, thank you so
This
much.
has been lovely.
That's Bear Power at Missouri State. April Phillips. Do I need to repeat the phone number again? Just kidding. Thank you again. And so, Tara, where can they find us?
Okay, yeah, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, and at our website, navigatingadultautism.com. We also have a Facebook and Instagram page that you can look up, Navigating Adult Autism Podcast. You can also contact us through our Facebook page or at our email, moms@navigatingadultautism.com.
Great.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Go Bears.
Go Bears.